Ooh. So I am down by the waterfront for a beautiful sunset. I'm very blessed to live in the Sunshine State. I'm very grateful because I personally don't deal well with the cold. I prefer the warmth, the sunshine. I would rather sweat than freeze. And I had enough cold in my growing up in northern Maine and Massachusetts. So, plus living overseas and in cold climates. So today I want to go a little bit more deep into dental hygiene. Some of you have seen my video with the oil pulling, and I didn't oil pull last night, but on a regular basis, the oil pulling I notice make my teeth feel stronger, more solid, don't feel like it's loose. I also notice my gums feel much stronger. They're usually a lot redder right now. I had a smoothie a little bit ago, so I'm going to have to brush my teeth when I get home to clean off any of that chocolate. Because this is the thing. When you eat certain foods, they will weaken your enamel. Certain foods will also stain your teeth, stain the enamel. And if you do a lot of acidic, that's right there is what wears away the enamel. And what was explained to me when I went to the dentist's office the first time is that first the enamel is worn down, and the next layer is the dentin, D-E-N-T-I-N, I believe, the dentin. And when that wears down, that's when you're exposing the tooth to be vulnerable to bacteria. Sunshine on my face. And when the dentin is removed, then that's when all bacteria breaks out. That's when they go wreak havoc on your teeth. And it's unfortunate because from my understanding, they're saying that the enamel can't be fixed. I don't know if I believe that, because in this day and age, we are only limited by the knowledge we have. That doesn't mean that someday down the road we don't learn or find solutions, because this is the irony of life, isn't it? Doctors only have microscopes that can see so small because over time technology has advanced. So if technology is able to advance, what makes you think that we're limited by what we know now, or that is the only route or the only solution? There's always got to be more solution. They're saying we can regrow teeth now, but you're not seeing that in the dentist's office right at the moment. In fact, you have a lot of dentists going, oh, please, you can't do that. And then once it's gotten to a certain point, you got to get rid of the tooth. I mean, they don't necessarily know what they're talking about any more than we can believe, because we're only limited by the information we've received. We're only limited by the science that has been proven or found out up to this point. We can't turn around and say this is or isn't possible if we haven't tried it. We haven't gotten there yet. I don't believe we've gotten to the full potential of where we can regrow. I mean, look at stem cells. Look at how they're able to grow tissue in these containers. If they can do that, why can't I repair my gums? Why can't my gums be brought back? Why do they have to shrink? Why am I being told by a dentist that periodontal disease, or when your gums, they shrink away from covering up the teeth at that line where they've receded, why can't they grow back? Only because that's the limited amount of information and science that they know about. But science is constantly learning about regeneration, constantly learning about new ways. If anybody out there knows how to mineralize and enamelize your teeth, I mean, come on. A lot of toothpaste out there are claiming you can do it. I've made my own, and I can't say that it does or it doesn't work. I made charcoal paste. I was using that for a while too. Maybe I need to start using that again. But I want to hear from someone who has done it. I want to hear firsthand somebody who has been able to regrow teeth or been able to repair their gum line. I don't want to hear, oh, it's impossible. Because guess what? Every day, it's been proven to turn around. And we're only limited by the belief in our mind. If we attach to what we're being told, if we're told it's always been that way, it's always going to be that way, we're just going to be stuck here. It's kind of like when I was in some of the veterans groups, and I was really dismayed because when I was active duty, there's some salty veterans, there's some salty military who are stuck in the old boys network. No offense, but this is just my experience, to where the idea of a woman in the service is still to them like this whole rub and, women don't belong in the service. There's still a lot of people who believe that. There's still a lot of people, men and women too, that believe that women should not serve and that it's not our place. You know what? Let them have their beliefs. But it's unfortunate when they start looking to put others down because of that, instead of seeing it as equal. Like, I served equally as a man. And if I make a comment or share my experience, why is a man's experience more important than a woman's experience? Why is it I'm being attacked and told, oh, you should suck it up, cry me a river? I mean, these are the kinds of responses that I've heard from other male veterans. Being put down by a male veteran, I think it's really sad. It's really disheartening, and it shows the bitterness of whatever it is that he's experienced, or whatever anybody who's experienced. When you put someone else down, it's only because you're already down and you're just trying to bring someone else down with you. It doesn't make you right or wrong. It's sad because you're stuck in your stuff. And it was just sad to go through, a re-witnessing on the veteran side and seeing how often it is easier to accept a man with his disabilities but not a woman, because of this whole imbalance and belief that a man is in the service and has served, but a woman who's been in the service and served is almost like, whatever. She's just, whatever. She's just complaining. I hear a whole lot more men complaining about the fact that it's that way, and they just keep it that way because they're so bitter about the way. Oh, it's always been like that, it's never going to change. If you believe that, you're just making it worse. That's the kind of attitude in this country that is keeping us stuck in the past. It is not helping us evolve. In fact, unfortunately, what they don't realize, how about supporting one another? I was having this conversation earlier the other day. How many people out there will throw money at organizations that claim to be taking care of service members? And I'm going to tell you right now, when do the service members get to see that money? I have a little bit of a rub when it comes to certain organizations that claim to be there to support veterans, but yet when a veteran needs money or needs help, where are they? Where is that? But when memorial services or memorials are built, people are quick to just turn around and donate money to that. Now, if you're somebody out there, have you ever considered this? Somebody will pay for a structure being built in honor of vets as a memorial, but yet there's plenty of vets out there who need help. And this is really sad. This is exceptionally sad, because then you're sitting there going, so what does that serve? So they suffer, and all they got is this structure that's kind of like anonymous, because it's not saying, hey, this is for that person over there that we're not giving the money. We're just putting a cement structure. I'm not bitter about this. I'm just observing and witnessing these things happening around me. I live in Clearwater, Florida, and just recently they are unveiling this new monument that is underwater. I think it's 10 miles off the coast of Clearwater Beach. And it's supposed to be this circle, and you're going to be able to scuba dive down to it, and there's a bronze thing, and there's a bunch of service members that have been cast in, I believe, concrete. That's a great tourist attraction. It'll bring money to Clearwater, Florida. But how's that going to serve us veterans that need the money and the support and the benefits that we're still trying to get from our veterans benefits, our disabilities, our time in service. Were we somebody messaged me and asked, were you promised that the service would take care of you after the fact? I didn't know I had to have a promise. I didn't know that was even an issue, when in reality, when you're getting ready to get out, they have this transition assistance program, and they sit you down and they say, unless you submit for your disability, for your due benefits, you're the only one hurting you. So to turn see, this is actually quite, unfortunately, it's very passive aggressive to turn it around on a person and make it sound like how dare you ask for something you weren't promised. I also didn't sign up to put my body through certain physical things that I endured, or my mind, because there's a lot of mental anguish that goes along with that. And to turn around and to put someone on the spot, and this was a woman actually who said this to me. I was like, what, really? I mean, seriously. Unfortunately, there are women against women, and it's because of the stuff they've been through, and they haven't gotten the support, and I get that. And I see that on both sides, and I have a whole lot of compassion. I can't get mad at that. I'm just aware of it, and that's, like, I look at it from a different perspective. I like to think that if you look at things from the perspective of question everything, you think you know, and the squeaky wheel always gets the oil. You know, there used to be a time when they believed that for every 10 people that didn't speak up, if one person is speaking, that's the one person representing all the ones who are unable to speak because they don't feel worthy. They're fearful of being rejected. My mother always used to tell me, it never hurts to ask. Make a phone call. Just like if you have financial hardships, it is better to ask, to call your financial institutions and ask for waivers, for time. There's special, a lot of people don't know this. They will work with you. If you are willing to ask, people will work with you. And in some cases, I've found that when I have called, sometimes you get a person who's unaware of these types of allowances. And they'll give you the response, and again, well, you're the only one that's speaking up. You're the only one complaining, which is a passive-aggressive response. It's to cut you down, it's to belittle you so that you shouldn't feel worthy. And my first response is, I remember, just because I'm complaining doesn't mean there aren't others that are experiencing the same thing I'm experiencing. I'm speaking up for the many people who are not. So just to say that I'm the only one complaining, I think that's too general. You can never say that. I'm just the only one willing to speak up and ask. And so never put anybody down for speaking up. The only reason people put others down for speaking up is because they feel their voice isn't heard. So a lot of times, instead of supporting the person and getting behind them, they don't realize that's helpful for themselves, for them, to support somebody else who's speaking up. Because maybe they're going to make that one difference that's going to give you what you need down the road. What if my squeaky wheel speaking, my questioning, helps a whole lot more veterans? What if somebody out there hears my story and turns around and helps me, and then I can help someone else? See, this is the real life change. You want to be the change that you want to see in the world, and the only way to do it is to put yourself out there. And not everybody's going to like you. And if they don't like you, it doesn't matter. If I'm willing to ask for money because I need it, and that's humbling in itself, then it's nobody's business, and it's not my business to even know what someone's opinion of me is. I could care less at this point. Because in reality, I'm the only one who knows what I need and how hard I've worked. And so, I get sometimes comments behind the scenes. I get messages and, this and that, whatever. You don't know my full story. I can tell you as much as you're willing to hear, if you can read into it. I can also go deeper, but the reality is I'm My vision of life is that if I'm willing to step up and speak up and ask for myself, then maybe I'm going to inspire somebody else who needs it to do it for themselves. As well as once I get help, I am that much more powerful and potent and able to help others. Because we all have a gift in this life. And sometimes it's to be the squeaky wheel so that not only do you get oiled, but so does everybody else in your circle, and you can serve at a higher capacity. So that's how I feel that this fundraiser is all about. I didn't want to set up a fundraiser, but I'm looking at it from that perspective because I want to do more for you. I want to be able to serve you better. And if this isn't working, it's going to affect my overall health. And I've always tried to take the best care of myself, because if I don't pay attention and heed the signs of my body, feeling it to heal it, listen, this doesn't feel right, I need to listen. The body has all the wisdom that we need to recognize and listen to. And when it speaks, when the body speaks and you don't listen, it'll just keep talking to you. And sometimes it'll get to the point where it's too late. I'm unwilling to let it get to that point at this phase of my life. So 45 years old, I used to get cleanings every 6 months. I've been lucky to get a cleaning past couple years because there is a free service in Clearwater, and me and the Ninja have biked over and gotten those cleanings, which is amazing, which is wonderful. That I love that people do that. There are people who give back, dentists. But sometimes you got to go a little further, unfortunately. Sometimes you don't realize maybe the detriment of eating certain things or not flossing or whatever it is you need to do. And these are always wake-up calls. These are always self-care reminders, you know. Sometimes we beat ourselves up because we're not taking better care of ourselves. But maybe if I take better care of myself, someone out there will also recognize, oh my gosh, I don't want to get it to that point either. So let me take better care of my own health. If anything, I hope that these videos not only inspire you to hopefully support me, but maybe you'll share them so that it helps somebody else, and you'll share them because you know that if I get the help, it'll help someone else. Look at it from the bigger picture. That's how I see it. Together we stand, divided we fall. If people are going to judge you, they're going to stand alone. But when people stand up and support you, just creating a bigger community that's going to help more people. And that's the most powerful thing. We as people, humans, beings, doesn't matter where you're from. I don't care if you're an immigrant. Well, there's a whole thing there. I'm not even going to go there right now. The reality is, we can't own anything except for what we got going on within. I love you all. Thank you again for sharing, caring, supporting. All of you have donated. If this resonates with you, if you have heard what I've been saying, please share. Please invite people. And whatever little bit you can donate to help me get this taken care of, I am forever grateful, and trust me, I will pay it forward 1,000-fold and then some, because that's my purpose in this life, is to serve. And the more I can serve, somebody else is going to benefit even more than I am from this right here, okay? That's how I see the life. The life is really about everyone stepping up each time, higher notch. And the only way we can do this is together. So I love you. I thank you. Have an amazing evening, and I will keep you updated.